Yeah, welcome. Awesome having you back. Yesterday I was talking about B.E.S.T and the motor health system. Talked a little bit about how that worked. Again, though, today we'll start off as usual with a little bit of sage. I know I've talked about that before. Properties of it and how some people believe that it pushes out negative energy and it brings in bad. And then I've heard that it also doesn't do either. It just makes a negative or a neutral space. Not negative, I shouldn't say that. A neutral space, and so it pushes out the good and the bad, and it makes a space that then you can create in. But I don't know. I know that I like the smell, and that I do feel my area or the energies a lot cleaner, maybe clearer, um, lighter, if you will. But I think it's really powerful. I think it's good to do. Something that I'll try. There's also other ways that you can go about doing this. So, sage is one of them, or smudging, and you go around and you smudge your house with it, and you can also use other things. If I'm saying this right, I believe it's Palo Santos is a type of wood that you can even use, and that's supposed to bring in a lot of good energy. It does do a little bit different than the sage or the white sage that I'm using here. We use different things. Another great thing that I've heard is you can use sound. If I remember right, the origin of this was Asia, or maybe China. I know, same continent, but anyway. And they would use clapping. Go around the house and clap. And that would help clear out negative energy, the sound. And I imagine the actual doing, that's the action of it, but the sound is what mainly does it. Now, I don't know if I'm saying this right again, tincture, but they're kind of like little bells, and you cling them together. That's more of a Asian thing where that comes from too. I will try to get my hands on those or find out more about them in later ones. But anyway, as far as just clearing the energy in the air, I grabbed a wind chime just outside hanging on in my house. I thought, well, if sound's what's helped clearing the air, and people have used clapping to even those little triangle cowbells, ding-ling-ling, dinner time, that kind of stuff. Using just anything like that to help clear, and I haven't talked about this, but it's probably the most important, which I probably should. But it's your intention. Now, if your intention is to make a lot of noise, and that's all your intention is I'm going to make a lot of noise, and okay, you probably could do that. But whether I'm using the clap or I'm going around my house with an actual wind chime, my intention is that sound is pushing. In say my imagination or in my mind, I'm almost picturing maybe a smoky or cloudy or kind of foggy house or room. It doesn't have to be a house. I've done this in offices and things like that. But I imagine it kind of cloudy, and then as I'm using this sound or even the smudge, which I know that sounds counterproductive because it's making it smoky in the room, but I imagine that just is pushing out all of that other negative or just stagnant kind of air or energy, and it's just pushing it out and allowing me to, have that area in that room to then start creating more positive, happier energies and, vibes. But I set my intention before I'm doing that on, I'm going to clear this out and I'm going to bring in a good, positive, loving feeling. Usually what I do. I mean, you can definitely set your intentions to whatever you want. But maybe even bringing in laughter, like say joy, happiness. But yeah, so that's a couple other ways that you can do it. And then also, I was talking about how I enjoy meditation, and we can do one of the mantras, chant for change. But before we do that, I'd actually like to share with you It's a daily text message that I get from my mentor. You can find them on Facebook, Text for Joy, and it's text, TEXT, the number 4, and then joy, JOY. But I would like to just share today's with you, and it says, "Good morning. It has been said that to make a better world, you must make a better you. This is true. The more we improve ourselves, the better we can help others. The higher we climb, the more good we can do, and the more we can lift others. For your meditation today and tomorrow, focus on the feeling of joy, the color green, and the image of jumping on a trampoline." That's funny because honestly, I put on this green shirt and I hadn't read all of the text message, all of today's daily meditation or text message. I just read the part of it and thought, you know what, this is going to be perfect. I'm going to share this today. But that's even better. That's funny that I am wearing a green shirt. So, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, that I love that. It's, and that's kind of why I did this, and what I'm hoping is to help people, help build up people. That's what I've been doing with myself and for myself. Like I said, I certified in B.E.S.T, and then it just kind of snowballed. I started finding out about laughter yoga and family matrix and rapid eye and just all these other great, amazing, modalities, and I had to know more. I thought it was really fascinating. But no, that's awesome. And again, you can find that on Facebook, Text for Joy. That's my mentor, Chris Shipley. He's amazing, amazing guy. Actually certified in fire walking too, which, man, that's awesome. Yeah. I've walked a couple fires. I want to say 3, but yeah. Anyway, and that's through another class that I usually do. I've done. It's a leadership program. Really great program. I'll talk more about that. But we'll start getting into the mantra. In fact, actually, that leadership program, it's called Souls with Stamina. It's up in Salem, Oregon. It's usually during the summer, June or July. I think usually the end of June is when we usually do it. But anyway, it's where I've got this beautiful necklace. I got the mantra cards, the chants for change. In fact, the necklace and the cards came together from a awesome lady named Brenda, which we will hopefully get on here to talk to her, and she can tell us about all these lovely stones and rocks. Ooh. Okay. Aham Prima. Aham Prima. And it's I am love. Again, I don't know if you can see that very well. Anyway, so that's a card. I am love. That's a beautiful card. All right, and I'll go ahead and read it, and then we'll chant it for a little bit. And again, anytime, if you want, you can pause it. You can continue to chant this. I just do a quick, short one. I usually end up continuing chanting this throughout the day. So yeah, go ahead and pause it. Continue to chant it for a while. However, wherever you feel, I don't want to say a specific time. That's for you. So anyway, Aham Prima. Ma. I am love. The mantra helps embody love in every action. Prima means love, divine love, human love, and universal love. It is the force that holds everything together. For love is all there is. Aham means I am. This mantra is affirmation that the core self is pure love. It puts our life force energy in harmony with the principle of love that runs through all existence. This chant builds our love for self and others, calling into our lives pure love. Pure love that awakens the soul, makes us to put forth just a little more effort and reach further than we think we can. Enlivens the fire in the heart and bring peace and selfless to the mind. It is the love that knows we are perfect and complete, just as we are. I am divine love. I am that which I seek. I radiate beautifully, perfect love. I am that. I am that love. So yeah, that's a great card. I like that. So ha ha prima. Ah aham prima. Aham prima. Aham prima. Aham prima. Aham prima. Aham prima. Aham aham It's interesting today. I feel it in my chest. I feel like I'm radiating. I feel like a sun just, radiating out, or almost like a flower opening up. Just this, almost, yeah, like a breath. Just, ah. That feels really good. I like that. That's beautiful. So yeah, that's an awesome little chant. I enjoy that one. That one's a good one. And again, feel free to continue chanting that. Write it down, pause the video, come back to it. I'll also be uploading this video tomorrow, I guess, because I'm staggering a day. Anyway, all right, so we were talking about bioenergetic synchronization technique, or B.E.S.T. I say or, just acronym. That's usually what I'll refer to as B.E.S.T. But I will say it a couple times for those that don't know, just so you know what B.E.S.T does stand for. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about how your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, and how your body has an innate intelligence of healing, and your bioenergetic, which I'm going to read this again because I think it was such a great line. Your biofield, which again, your biofield is, usually that bubble people talk about. It goes out arm's length in every direction, above you, below you. So that's your biofield. Your biofield is comprised of both measurable electromagnetic energy and hypothetical. Again, I think that's very important that they have the hypothetical in there too, because it's basically to me, it means that we're still learning, that there's still growth to happen. We're not closing the book saying, "Oh, we know everything," which I've heard that happened one time. We closed the patent office because we didn't think anything else could be invented, which it just sounds silly to me. But anyway. And then we also talked about interference, and we use the word interference pretty broadly. It usually refers to trauma, toxins, and thoughts. Toxins are stored in the body, trauma is stored in the mind, and trauma is stored in the memory, stressful thoughts in the mind, and then toxins in the body. And we talked about the person that started B.E.S.T, pioneered it. His name was Milton Theodore Morter, and went by Ted Morter. Another thing about Ted that I thought was really awesome is he pursued degrees in chemistry, math, and physics, and he actually got his master's degree before he went to chiropractics. And that's what he's famous for, is chiropractics. But he went to chemistry, math, physics. It wasn't just chiropractics. He had quite a bit of knowledge about a lot of different things. In fact, we'll probably get a little bit later. I know I mentioned this about the AO scan, the pH system. If you don't know what your pH system is, I know what it means, but I'll have to look it up. Anyway, swimming pools, all water has it. And if it's too base, let me rephrase this. So it's on a scale, if I remember, it's like 2 to 14 or 1 to 14. 7 is perfect, Anything too high is acidy. Anything too low is too base. I might have those backwards, so you could flip them. Anything too high is too base. Anything too low is too acidy. But either way, you can't live. Nothing can live in a too acidy or too base, as far as I understand. It's really not healthy for you. It's, acid reflux is because you're got too much acid, from what I understand. And so you need a balance. You need to have your pH at 7. That helped with, from what I understand, his chemistry degree. Say that 10 times fast. No. That degree helped him with understanding pH and things like that in the body. Now, chiropractic is more of what he's known for. At least that's what I know. Before I really started diving into this and learning about him, I knew he was the dean of 2 chiropractic colleges. Not only studied and practiced chiropractic, he also taught it. And, being the dean, that's pretty high up there. I imagine you need to know a lot about it, because you need to answer even the teacher's questions. So yeah, he was the dean of 2 of them. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is he was asking about the innate intelligence of the body, if I understand this right. And he was saying, sometimes I don't think, forcing bones back into place is the right answer. And his professors or his teachers, and I'm assuming this is before he was the dean, basically told him, well, you're a smart boy, you figure it out. And so that's exactly what he started doing. He started looking at the innate intelligence of the body, the subconscious, conscious, how they connected, all that kind of stuff. There's actually a line right here that I want to read, probably 2 of them, just because I think they're great. So right here it says, in the early 1970s, he recognized after a neck injury with an incomplete adjustment, he began more sincerely pursuing the idea of moving bones was not the answer in healing. So again, with B.E.S.T, we say it's a non-forceful, hands-on procedure. Well, forceful would be moving bones, popping and cracking. There's none of that, because the body knows, or the intelligence of the subconscious, in a sense, knows where the bone's supposed to be. And so when they get out of place, it's usually through that interference, trauma, toxins, or thoughts, that this interference is being created, or that the body is moving that bone out of place. So with that, he realizes that it's something that the mind is doing. And so he looks more into it. His theory of active versus passive healing teaches patients to actively care for themselves by retraining their minds and bodies. Practitioners help Practitioners help patients synchronize their body's energy system, alkalizing the pH in their bloodstreams and learning to take more active roles in their health. So that's another thing that I really love about it. It's active versus passive healing. So passive healing would be, oh, my body hurts, and I'm going to go to the doctors, and the doctor's going to give me a pill, and I'm going to take that, and that's going to fix me, in a sense. More active healing is, I would say, listening to that quiet voice inside, or your intuition, however you want to describe that. I've heard people even say that's God's voice. However, I'm not sure, but, listening to that, and when that says, do this, you listen to it. That's kind of vague, sorry. So with active healing, it's also choosing that you're going to have a salad and, whatever leafy greens and fruits and vegetables you might need. I know for myself, I eat a lot of meat, kind of a meat and potatoes or meat and rice kind of person. So eating a lot more greens, fruits and vegetables, alkalizing my blood is, my body, my pH in my body, that's really going to help. And me taking an active role in that and saying, okay, well, am I eating too much acids? Am I not getting enough acids? That's taking an active role. And it's not just that. There's other parts of it. Am I going to choose to work out, or am I going to choose to lay here and not do anything? Am I going to choose something healthy? Me personally, I was looking into healthy alternatives because, again, my diet was not necessarily the best. and I found Herbalife. Some people love it, some people hate it. I really enjoy it. It's definitely helped me. I've even met some people that I've talked to about Herbalife, and the food that they cook and eat is a lot healthier, and so I had to learn from them. I couldn't help them in a sense, which was great. I'm happy to learn. There's a line in Dr. Jordan Peterson's book, and he says, listen to everyone like they know something you don't. And I've heard that same rule before. I think we phrased a little different. Said listen as if everybody has something to teach you. And so I think that that's something that I try to come from when I'm have the ears to hear and the mind to understand. But anyway, so back to Dr. Mortar and active passive healing. So he wanted his patients to take an active role in it. He wanted them, not just to come to him and get fixed, which I've even dealt with in my own practice. I've had people that I see maybe once a month, and they only call me when they really feel like things are falling apart and they're really hurting or whatnot. And it's like, this is something you need to do more often. Even if you can't come see me, try your mortar march, which we mentioned, and I'll teach that on this channel a little bit later. But just as far as Dr. Mortar, so there's another part that I want to read. Our health, he maintains, depends solely on the 6 essentials of life, which I think we'll do a whole show just on the 6 essentials. But just real quick, what they are is what we eat, which I just talked about, eating balanced diet so that your pH is right. What we drink, which it's the same thing. Let's take alcohol for a second. Now we're putting toxins into our body. Okay, so what we drink is important. How we exercise. Again, am I going to just lay in bed all day, or am I going to get up and get moving? In fact, I was actually talking about this with a good friend yesterday, because he was saying that he had to unload a truck for work and kicked his butt. And I was like, yeah, but you need those days every now and then. I know for myself, I went out and did some yard work the other day, and that kicked my butt. But that was good. It was a nice physical, workout. It doesn't always have to be in the gym, but moving our body, even with laughter yoga, they talked about meridian here. Actually running this way, but it's, if you imagine where this headphone is, so it's through my shoulders, running this way, one running this way, and just moving helps, because I'm crossing those, I don't know if that's the right word, but meridians, I think that's what I said, but these lines, in a sense, that intersect your body. And so with laughter yoga, the ho, ho, ha, 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 we probably don't know because you haven't done it, but anyway, in laughter yoga, you move a lot, cross those lines, and I'll do more on that, but even those, that it helps you. How you exercise, and then how you rest. So are you getting enough sleep at night? Are you going to bed on time? So resting. How we breathe, and that could even go to what we breathe. It's smoking. Are you breathing in smoke all the time? Are you working in, bad conditions, or maybe I used to do pesticide. Are you working with pesticide? Are you breathing that stuff in? That stuff's nasty, chemicals. So it's what you breathe, and then the last one, most important, is what you think. And I did talk about that yesterday. Think about what you're thinking about while you're thinking about it. And I think that's so huge. Or as another one of my mentors, awesome lady, says, your itty bitty icky committee. So yeah, I like those. Anyway, back to Mortar. He has the 3 kids that I talked about, Tom, Ted, and Sue, and they are all chiropractors too. They saw what their dad was doing, and they believed in it, and they wanted to continue his work and pursue it more. Just read through my notes real quick. So yeah, Dr. Ted Mortar. Yeah, sorry. There's Ted and Tom. Sometimes I get confused, but Ted's also one of the sons. So anyway, so Ted Sr., I guess we could say. He's the one that came up with B.E.S.T, pioneered it. Also, when he was a young kid, there's a story in his family. I believe it was his brother, and he was very ill. The doctors didn't know that from what I read, they couldn't help him. and so they sent him home to be comfortable. Well, they found out about a chiropractor, and at that time it was still, I would think, revolutionary, or in its infancy. But it wasn't a big practice. Not a lot of people heard about it. Not a lot of people went to chiropractors back then. But the family was desperate, and they called him up and said, "Hey, if you can help him, great. Just we want to help our son, like any good parent." And the chiropractor came in. From what I understand, the kid was in bed, not doing so well. Chiropractor went in, gave him a few adjustments, or a adjustment, I'm not sure. And by the time he left, the kid was out of bed and playing. So I could see how that would make a huge impact on people. I know for myself, probably why I'm even drawn to this is I've had a couple surgeries. I've spent quite a bit of time in hospitals, and I think there's a positive, good way to do this. Not that, so to be clear, I think this energy work, energy healing definitely has something, but there's also a point where surgery is needed, where cutting, giving pills, taking medicine, things like that are needed. I'm not totally against that. I'm not always totally for it, though. And I think that's one of the great things that Ted saw is, there is a time and a place for that, and there's a time and a place where the innate intelligence of the body just knows what to do, and you can step back and let it do that. Again, you need to get the essentials right, or maybe not right, but you need to focus on those. I'll read them one more time. That is what we eat, what we drink, how we exercise, how we rest, how we breathe, and what we think. And definitely with the thinking. I believe I mentioned this too. Some people call it slaying the dragon. Some people call it conquering your demons. You get that itty bitty icky committee talking bad about you, saying that you can't, or this or that. Myself, I imagine it as a committee in my head, I guess, or there's just hundreds or thousands of people, and every now and then a dumb one stands up and says, "You can't do that," or whatever. I don't know. He has a weird voice because it's not me. No, somewhere I guess it is part of me. But anyway, so they stand up and say, "You can't do that," whatever negative thoughts. And I just think wherever that thought came from, whoever voiced that thought, which again, it's me, but it's just in my imagination. I imagine firing that person, that voice, and saying, "Nope, you don't speak anymore. I don't need that kind of negativity." And some days it's easier than others. I still get down on myself like anybody else, but it's what I do about it. I heard a great, well, I don't know, you can choose whether this is great or not, but I heard a saying, and it's, everybody has homicidal and suicidal thoughts. The difference is those that carry them out. And I thought, that's probably true. I'm sure at some point everybody gets down on themselves and doesn't think they're very worth. I'm talking wrong. Like Yoda, no. People don't think that their value is very high, or that they're worth a lot. And then there's other times where, you've heard people in anger, "I'm going to kill that SOB, rah, rah, rah." And they don't mean it. They're just angry. And maybe at the time, to some extent, they do. Like, yeah, I would, punch him in the face if I could, or whatnot. But we know that that's not acceptable, or you don't want to go to jail, whatever the consequences are. Or maybe you're just a nice person and you're feeling frustrated, and you don't necessarily mean that you're going to do violence, but that's that feeling that comes up of just, And so I don't know if that's true or not with everybody. When I heard it, I thought that sounds true. I think that is probably a fair statement. And so whenever I'm feeling, I would say, down, suicidal, whatever, depressed, a lot of times what I like to do is make a gratitude list. I like to, even if it's just on my hands and fingers, or in my head, or a pen and paper, and I'm writing it down, I like to do a gratitude list. What are 10 things, just 10, sometimes 5 even, that I'm thankful and grateful for? And most of the time, it's usually just, my kids, my house, food in my belly, that kind of, very basic, because I am thankful and grateful for that. I realize that some people don't have that. And when I start looking at how appreciative I am and what I do have and how thankful I am for it all. And, you know, the wonderful people that have helped me to learn this, and to, you know, my mentors and my family that has supported me, just all of that. I feel I have no choice but to be thankful and grateful. It's awesome and wonderful. And again, I don't always feel that way, but when I'm not feeling that way, I have techniques that I use to get me back there. You can develop some of your own. I recommend the gratitude list. That was a great one for me. Another thing is just thinking about, you know, like awesome things that I've done, or you know, sometimes even my bucket list. I'm sure everybody's got probably 20, 30 things on their bucket list, maybe more or less, give or take. Even if you only have 5, I doubt everybody's done them all, or, you know, maybe you got 1 or 2 checked off. And so even just that, I've got one offhand that is checked off, and I think about that and I just go, man, that's cool that I got to do that. I am very thankful and grateful. I know I don't always seem or act it, but I try to, and, you know, that's life. Sometimes we get down, and, you know, got to do what we can to get ourselves back up, or maybe a good friend does. I'm not sure how it works for you. I know that I'm thankful and grateful. Anyway, this is about out of time. We went a little over, so I'm just going to end it here. I know I didn't get too much into B.E.S.T. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk more about it and go from there. More on the technique and how it works. But yeah, anyway, thank you again for being here with me, and yeah, hope you had a wonderful day. I know I will. Appreciate it.